Hello and welcome back everyone to Master Game Design, Unreal Engine 5 Stylized Environment and third-person blueprint course. In the last lesson we set ourselves up with some nice modular pieces which we're now going to be able to make use out of in order to create the slum area. So how do we actually start? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and start adding the top of the roofs mainly, the ones that are crucial to just supporting a nice silhouette for the top-down kind of a looks and for the side camera. We're going to make sure that they look the best in regards to that, and then we're going to work up in regards to the closer sections and make sure that they all look nice all together. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to hold Alt and basically start copying the ones that are highest up and just replacing it with these parts. And maybe I'm just going to rotate this as well. So yeah, we don't really need to exactly just remake this entire thing bit by bit, but we just want to make sure that we have more or less the same kind of height for them. So I can just, for example, put this one over here, put this one over here and whatnot, and just work with that. I'm actually not going to worry about the rotation itself at this moment, just making sure that the height is set up properly. We're making sure that we focus only on one thing at a time. We don't need to overwhelm ourselves. So, for example, this one should also have a roof. I did actually pick the corner one, but it didn't really matter, to be honest. So I'm going to put it over here. These parts also need some extra, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to just select these three, actually going to hold Alt and just bring it up to the side, just like that. So this one can go over here, help us break up the area. And I will be actually talking a little bit in regards to how to break up these sections and how to make sure that we have somewhat chaotic look from the slums, whilst at the same time making sure that the slums have a sort of a pattern in them and whatnot. So for example, this one over here is actually, no, it's actually quite alright for this part. But I do want to, at this point, grab the one that's, you know, thinner. This section over here, I'm just going to go ahead and grab it, set it sideways, put it out like so. And actually the one that we have does not have a balcony, but it might work out quite alright. Really depends on the setup. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the gray box, see which ones we're missing. We're missing the main piece actually. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this part over here. Alt, and just put it out like so. Just like that. And maybe I'll just grab the other one that we had. One over here and grab it and put it underneath it. Like so. And yeah, it looks quite alright. Going to make sure that the balcony is visible actually for this particular part. If we can bring it outside like so. And for this particular part, it actually worked out quite alright. Although we have some overlap in this, as you can see. The overlap itself makes it look like an extra part of a wall, so we don't actually need to worry about fixing the overlap itself. As you can see, if we were to be holding it like this, it would be worrying, but it really depends on the type of asset chunks that you have set yourself out with, and it really depends on the individual pieces for them. I'm going to go ahead and just continue on working with those, what I have. So for this, I'll just bring it inwards, bring it down a little bit as well. Hide the pillars out of the way for this section. And yeah, we can just actually, I'll go ahead and grab a couple of extra for this part. Hold Alt and just put it out like so. Just like that. At this point, it's actually more about just a personal kind of a feeling. And there is no right or wrong, as long as you break up the overall pattern a little bit, making sure that it doesn't have like any overall bizarre patterns overlapping. But all in all, because these chunks are so nicely set up, we're going to have a very simple way of doing it, and it just takes a bit of an extra time just polishing it up, basically placing them together one by one like that. But all is well, because it's going to be turning out quite nicely overall. So yeah, again, I'm not going to worry about rotating it too much, but I would like to maybe in parts where I want them to be broken up a little bit, I will go ahead and do that. And this part, I need to just do that. Going to rotate it right away, actually, like so. Put it out to the side. Grab this one circular as well. Put it over here. Rotate it maybe as well at this point. Might as well. And this piece, we're going to be working in regards to that in a bit. We're going to go ahead and actually just grab this roof over here. Put it out to the side. And actually, I think it already had a roof. Yep, it did. We just need to make sure it has it on this side as well. Just like that. Quick and easy and simple, and then polishing can be done afterwards and whatnot. I'm just going to even copy this and maybe rotate it once, make sure that we don't have too much variation. So that we have variation, actually, sorry. And this time I'm going to grab maybe this one over here. Now we'll keep the roofs flat, and the reason being is I'll mention it to you in a bit. In regards to when we're setting it up like a small platform area. So let's go ahead and just continue on with the roofs themselves. Going to make sure we place them in like so, individually. Just like that. And yeah, I'm not worried about the rotation or anything of the sort. Just making sure that where we had the gray box, where we had the chunks, the blocks out, it's going to help us with just overall setup. This area can be placed as well. So there we go. That looks quite alright. We might need to grab another one over here in this section, like so. And yeah, at this point we can probably turn off the gray box and talk about the layout itself. So what we need to consider when we're building it like so is again just a general kind of way of breaking down the chunks and making sure that some of the assets don't overlap. So for example, this window is slightly going inwards. I'm just going to raise this up and just hide it out of the way. Very simple, very easy to do. Let's go ahead and keep it as is, basically, as a nice setup, and most of it is actually quite done. We now need to consider actually elevation itself. So the way we're going to consider elevation is, instead of just building it like right away because it's going to be floating, we must basically have a certain amount of elevation within a town, otherwise it's going to look quite flat from certain angles, especially if you're playing with a third person as well. You need to have like some city be able to be visible. So maybe from this angle over here, you need to be able to see like the path that's going upwards and whatnot. So yeah, for that, what we're going to do is, first of all, we're just going to drag this round platform over here in the side. We're just going to leave it as is, and we're just going to base this height with the platform. So we're going to be able to build it around it. If we turn on the gray box, we should be able to, there you go, we should be able to see this section over here. I will make this actually bigger right away. Just expand it quite a bit, like so. And now we're going to base the landscape a little bit in regards to this height. Let's go ahead and do that. And so that way we'll know which buildings will be floating, which need to be worked on a little bit extra. We're going to go on to the landscape mode, going to make sure that the layer is selected, not the water layer, just the naming layer. We're going to go on to flatten. Actually, we're going to go on to sculpt, and my brush seems to be missing. It might be just a little bit too big. I'm going to go ahead and see the size, or it might be actually too small even. I'm seeing what is happening with that. And the reason being is because we had the persistent level locked. So let's go ahead and unlock it this time. And there we go. We're now going to be able to make use out of this. And I'm just going to just drag it outside a little bit like so. Then going to the flatten mode. Going to use the pipette and just going to click until we get it just under the section. So a bit lower perhaps. Like so. You can see the grid going underneath it just a little bit. Maybe we can do it a little bit higher up, just a little bit, like so, even a little bit higher. There you go, a little bit higher. And I'm just clicking right above the grid itself and creating this sort of a flattened target, basically. Now we can use it to actually just, as you can see over here, like flatten it out to this degree. And yeah, this is going to be the second section. We're just going to go ahead and just flatten everything out in this area, like so. And I'm even going to flatten this section as well. So this area is going to be quite closed off actually. Let's go ahead and do that. Just like so. And the gap over here still stays. So we're going to be working on that later down the line. We're going to go ahead and keep it as is actually. For this section, going to just maybe work over here. Like so. And yeah, just making sure that everything is nicely flat over in this section. We're still going to be working with the landscape in the back, making sure that it kind of complements the overall city. But for now, let's just go ahead and close it down with the height. I'm not sure about this height over here actually. I'm going to go ahead and keep it lower. So I'm going to actually click Control Z or even change the original type of landscape height. Just be able to flatten this area out like so. And now we need to again make sure that properly finished up with this section. So we have something like this. All right, so I'm quite happy with the result. Let's go back onto the selection mode, and ideally I'd like a passageway actually over here. Maybe that would, let me just go ahead and check the gray box. Yeah, we're going to have like a sort of a small passageway over here, alleyway. I'm going to just slightly bring this to the side, like so. Take off the gray box, see how this looks like, and there you go. Got ourselves a nice area, although I think this will have to be blocked off. The reason being is that we don't want the players to go through the other side. And yeah, let's go ahead and just complete up this area over here. I'm going to go ahead and grab this time a simple block for the base. I'm going to hold Alt, put it out to the side like so. And now we're just going to start playing around with the overall design and whatnot. Just like that, we're going to place this section over here. Maybe we can do it for this section as well. Something like this. And I think this looks quite nice actually. Like so. Maybe we'll need to increase the height for this actually. Make sure that it doesn't have this sort of a gap. I don't quite like this one. There you go. And this itself is actually floating, so let's go ahead and fix it. Even with the height itself, it looks like it's floating, so there we go. We're going to go ahead and get this fixed. We might even just make the scale a little bit bigger for this one. We shouldn't be afraid of scaling it. When the objects are not combined, upscaling certain assets all at once would sometimes cause issues in regards to rotation and whatnot. But when they're all combined, it's going to be much easier to do so. And then we got this area over here. We have this passageway that we need to perhaps work on it. But yeah, I'll just take one of the parts, or actually I'll just grab this one over here, which was the half type of a block, and just put it over like so. We might need to work on it later though. So all is good. I'm going to grab this one over here, going to turn the rotation a little bit, put it downwards like so. And we got ourselves a nice entrance to work with. And yeah, there still is a bit of polishing left to do, but I think we can continue on with this in the next lesson. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll be